I was ready to come in here. I was ready to come in here and say, "Hey, Brooklyn seasons is over." Uh, Without Kyrie, which we'll talk about in a second, without Kyrie, they can't beat the Bucks. Yeah, you still have Kevin Durant, but you don't have anybody else. James Harden wasn't announced to be playing, so it just looked mighty bleak for the Brooklyn Nets. And then I'm hearing a whole bunch of Kevin Durant's not LeBron James. Now you see what LeBron James had to go through. Kevin Durant is not a leader. Kevin Durant can't lead a team. I just heard it all. And I'm like, I mean, I know Kevin Durant's a great scorer and he can defend when he wants to and he can pass when he wants to, but this is a Bucks team. This is the semifinal. I mean, it's gonna be tough, man. I was ready to come in here and just say, "Hey, good season, Brooklyn," but injuries really killed y'all, and then it happened. And then Kevin Durant happened. And here's the thing: I never doubted Kevin Durant. I never doubted the fact that Kevin Durant was going to be Kevin Durant. I never doubted the fact that Kevin Durant can come out and have a historic bravioso game. And I never thought that Kevin Durant was going, I never thought Kevin Durant couldn't win a game. What I thought was, I didn't think that he could win because of the surrounding pieces, because James Harden wasn't supposed to be playing. Kyrie was out. You had to trust on Joe Harris, who was playing like garbage this playoffs. Bruce Brown, who had one good half. Landry Shamet. Blake Griffin, who had a couple good games, but he's not the Blake Griffin of old. I knew Kevin Durant can get his points off. I just didn't think that anything like anyone else was able to come on for that ride and lead Brooklyn to victory. And to be completely honest with you, even what we saw happen, bro, Kevin Durant became the first player in NBA history to have 49 and side note before we keep going, Kevin Durant is straight garbage for that. I hate when people Steph Curry did that. Steph Curry did that this season as well. He was at like 49 points or 59 points, something like that, and he missed a free throw to end the game on a 49 or 59. I don't remember. I believe it was 59. No, he had 62. Yeah, I believe it was 59, and he just needed a free throw to get another 60. It would have been his second 60-point game, and he missed the free throw and ended with 59. Kevin Durant knows you trash for that, bro. You trash for that. But he finished with 49 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists, becoming the first player in NBA history to do that in the playoffs. I look. You can go back to hell. My first episode. You can go back to the very first episode of the Unpopular podcast. This is episode 165 or something. You can go back to episode 1. I dedicated my first ever episode of the Unpopular podcast to tell you guys how great Kevin Durant is. And it hasn't stopped, man. Look, we'll talk about the Bucks side in a second. But Kevin Durant, there's something to be said when you look at a player and you like, we expected Kevin Durant. A lot of people, most people expected Kevin Durant to score. What a lot of people didn't expect, and I can be one of those people. I didn't expect Kevin Durant to be able to facilitate like he did last night. I didn't expect him to be able to turn on the defense. I think he had like 4 or 5 blocks. Kevin Durant did everything, or maybe 3 or 4. Kevin Durant did everything he needed to do for his team. And this is even with James Harden coming back, and James Harden obviously not looking like he's ready to play. Now, James Harden, for people that don't know, he's missed, I think he's only played 40 seconds of this entire series because he tweaked his hamstring. Now, this is the same hamstring that made him miss a lot of time in the regular season. But James Harden was out there, and it's James Harden, honestly, now we know you can tell he wasn't ready to play. I kind of feared when I heard James Harden was going to play, I kind of feared like this was the same situation that Kevin Durant was in Golden State. Golden State, when they were down against the Toronto Raptors in the NBA Finals, I think they were down 3-1, and Kevin Durant started to feel the heat. He started to understand that, yo, if I don't play, we are going to lose. Steph Curry is giving his best. Klay Thompson at the time is giving his best. If we don't play, we are going to lose. I mean, if I don't play, we are going to lose. Kevin Durant was the best player on the team. And he felt the pressure. And that same game that he played, that everyone knew his hamstring wasn't right. Everyone knew that he really shouldn't be playing. But that same game, he ruptures his Achilles. Now, I didn't wish that upon anybody, and I didn't think that was going to happen to James Harden. But you can see early on, James Harden, hamstrings is something that you can't rush a hamstring. And I say you can't rush a hamstring because a pulled hamstring can turn into a popped hamstring, can turn into a come off the bone hamstring. And once that happens, you're out. And sometimes that can be career altering if the muscle comes off the bone. So I just didn't think he was right. And there's a reason why. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand these players make big money and they're going to think about their bodies first, but there's a reason why a player like James Harden, a player like James Harden, who, if you look back at his history, is known to play through injuries and known to play in big moments, there's a reason why he wasn't playing. And when we heard Kyrie went down or was going down, and of course we saw the ankle sprain and it looked bad, that's when you can start and you start hearing, okay, well, Kyrie's out, James is out, it's going to be on Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant doesn't have the playmaking skills that Kyrie or James Harden has. When you start hearing that, and of course you start hearing the chatter of, okay, well, we don't like what happened out of Houston. We don't like how you force your way out of Houston to Brooklyn, and the time when Brooklyn needs you the most, you're out. Like, you start hearing that, then he said, all right, you know what, we're gonna play. Hell, and it looked quickly, you can tell that James Harden should not have been out there. James Harden was not ready. Now, luckily, thank God, he didn't get hurt, but you can just tell he wasn't out there. Now, am I saying that he's still hurt? I don't know. But I'm saying is he just wasn't ready to play. And it could have been, he could have been physically ready. He could have been physically ready to play, but it's kind of hard jumping from not playing for a long time to jumping straight into an intense series like the Bucks and Nets series is right now. So you can just tell he wasn't there. He finished with, I believe, 5 or 6 points. He only made one field goal, I think, and it was like a layup. And it just didn't look good. He had a couple turnovers. He didn't look engaged. He just did not look good. However, his counterpart, or his Kevin Durant, was just going off. And it's funny, man. It's funny because people throw LeBron James, he needs to win with Kevin Durant's never won without a star, or Kevin Durant needs to know how it feels to not have superstar talent around him. He needs to understand what LeBron James has been through. Here's the thing, and this is why I hate, and I mean absolutely hate, that argument, because the same breath they will say, well, the reason why LeBron James didn't win is because he didn't have so. And it's not just LeBron, man. If you look in history, bruh, Larry Bird never won by himself. Magic Johnson never won by himself. Michael Jordan never won by himself. Hell, Michael Jordan only won one playoff game before Scottie Pippen came. Who else? Hakeem Olajuwon never won by himself. Kobe never won by himself. Shaq never won by himself. D. Wade never won by himself. Steph Curry never won by himself. It's like, And LeBron James, I don't know if I said it, but LeBron James has never won by himself. If you look at all the championships LeBron has won, LeBron has 4 championships. 2 of them he had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. The one that Dwayne, or the two that, well, the one that we can throw out the outlier, which is the first one against Dallas. LeBron James already said that was his, it is what it is. He didn't come ready to play this day. The one that he lost, Chris Bosh was hampered. D Wade was hampered. If you go to Cleveland, every single year he lost, somebody was hurt, or you're just playing an all-world team. Like, you remember 2015, Kyrie and Kevin Love was hurt. 2016, when everyone was healthy, Golden State was hurt. Bogut was out, who was a huge piece, especially as a rim protector. Andre Iguodala was out. If you look at the Lakers, when he won the Lakers, he had Anthony Davis, who was playing the best basketball he's ever played. So this narrative and the argument that, Kevin Durant needs to find out how it is to win by himself, to be quiet as is kept. LeBron James doesn't know how it is to win by himself because he's never done it. Neither has Jordan. Neither has any player in the world. And people love, ever since Kevin Durant, of course, went to Golden State, Kevin Durant's pretty much been enemy number one. People, the whole snake thing, of course, the burner account, that went up. People don't allow play. You know what it is? And it's funny because I guess I'm kind of in this realm too. What people have a sports life in general is funny and weird, man. Because people like myself, I have a podcast, a sports podcast. I talk about what's happening in sports. People that work on major networks, and they get money. They get paid. I don't get no money, but they get paid. People get paid to critique things, and it's not just people feel like they can critique, which they can. You're your own person, but they feel they can critique things that they could never do. Like, if you go to YouTube right now, there's a huge genre of album reviews. People do album reviews. People do song reviews. And of course, I'm not here saying that you can't do what you don't want to do. Hey, do you? Hey, I watch a lot of album reviews, but a lot of those people, most of those people, can't put pen to paper and write an 8, let alone a 16, let alone a whole song, let alone make a beat. But they just feel obligated, and they feel the need because that's their job. They feel that they can speak on something like an album. Now, of course, I understand they speak on how they feel about it and if they like it, but in the same vein, they'll tell you that so and so is trash, but they can't even sing on beat. They'll tell you that so and so can't rap to save their life, but they can't rap. They can't put an 8 together. Basketball, sports. People will say how garbage that a football quarterback is, yet and still, I can't throw you a phone. Like, you can't throw me my phone 10 inches and have the jump go over my head. People saying they should have made that catch. They should have made that run. They should have made that dive. Yet, if I threw you your phone 10 inches, you couldn't catch it. Basketball players, man. Kevin Durant's garbage. Kevin Durant's soft. Kevin Durant is this. Kevin Durant is that. Yet and still, every single time Kevin Durant is needed, this man performs. Now, you can go on and talk about what happened with a 3-1 lead. And a lot of that was Kevin Durant, I'm not going to lie. And a lot of that was other players too. But it's just like, you can't talk about legacy games. And I know, like, you can't, no, let me not say that. You can't say someone's trash. You can't say someone's garbage. They are supremely talented. Anybody that made it to the league, whether it's NBA, MLB, hockey, football, they are supremely talented. And to be Kevin Durant and to be one of the most talented players to ever play a sport. Kevin, you cannot speak about the NBA, the history of the NBA, without mentioning Kevin Durant's name. And hey, yet and still, people still say he's trash because they don't like the fact that he did what anybody would do if they're unhappy at a job and had other unemployment. So, and it's funny, man. Let's go over to the Bucks side. No, let me say, congratulations, Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets for beating the Bucks. I think it was 114 to 108, and now they're leading 3-2 in the series. Let's go over to the Bucks. Let's go over to the Bucks. the same thing. As much as you can praise heap on Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets for winning, you also have to, in the same breath, you have to criticize what you saw from the Bucks. Let's just say Kyrie was there. What are the Bucks, and what do the Bucks have that the Brooklyn Nets don't? Well, they have size. You have Giannis. You have Jrue Holiday, who's a big guard. You have PJ Tucker, who is a rugged player. You have Brook Lopez. You have size. Hell, even Pat Connaughton's kind of a stronger guard. So with that being said, you have size. You're a better defensive team. I mean, you have Giannis and Jrue Holiday, who both made the all-defense team this year. We'll talk about that a little later. You have PJ Tucker, who a lot of people revere as a great defender. You have Brook Lopez, who a lot of people is a decent mid-range defender. You have Mike Budenholzer, who has won a Coach of the Year. And, of course, you have a two-time MVP in Giannis. Charles Barkley said, there's a reason why Charles Barkley said that the Bucks have the ability, and he believes the Bucks have the ability to win in championship. Yet, in the same breath, he also said they're probably one of the dumbest teams he's ever seen. Now, I'm not going to go as far and say they're a dumb team. Hell, back to what I just said, I'm not in the NBA. I can't call nobody dumb. I can't call nobody trash. But there is something to be said that, yes, I understand that you're good. I know that they're one of the best three-point shooting teams. Giannis is not a good three-point shooter. I understand that in the regular season, they're used to jacking up threes and making it. Don't get me wrong. You still have Chris Middleton. You know, they make a lot of threes. But when you're playing against an opponent, one who's weakened as far as Kyrie not there, James Harden, you know his hamstring's not right. I mean, there should be no reason why James Harden, who is a multiple-time scoring champ, as an MVP and a runner-up to MVP multiple years in a row, there should be no reason why he has 0 points at halftime. So you know something's not right. And you also know that the only person that is on the floor that can generate any type of their own buckets is Kevin Durant. There should be no reason why you're up 17 points. 17 points. And you lose this game with no Kyrie, with a slow down Harden, and you gave up. I think they gave up 27 points to Jeff Green. Now, don't get me wrong. Shouts out my Maryland natives. You know, Kevin Durant, Jeff Green. Shouts out to them. PG's finest. Stand up. Seat Pleasant. Stand up. There's no disrespect. I mean, Jeff Green, like I said, I'm not going to disrespect my Maryland people, man. But I will say this. There should be no reason why Jeff Green should give you 27 points. and Kevin Durant. I understand. I can see Kevin Durant giving you 49, 15, and 10. I can see that. I mean, that's Kevin Durant. But to allow Jeff Green to give you, 24, 27 points? To allow James Harden to score under 10 points? To allow Joe Harris to score under 10 points? To allow Bruce Brown to score under 10 points? And you still lose the game.